Cultivate compassion. What an awesome topic. And today I'm going to talk about cultivating compassion for two of the types of people that are the most difficult for most of us. And one of those is ourselves. So I'm going to be talking about cultivating self-compassion. And then I'm also going to be talking about cultivating compassion for the really difficult people in our lives. My name is Barbara Heffernan, and I'm a psychotherapist and a Buddhist, and I created this YouTube channel to try to help bring tools and techniques and information to people so they can live a more joyful life. If you support the work that I'm doing here, please give me a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I release future videos every week. I truly appreciate your support. I recently released a video, and I will link that right here, on Metta Loving Kindness Meditation. And I do a guided meditation, and I go through the process of the Buddhist Metta Meditation, which is a practice, and it's actually like really a practice. It's something that people practice over and over and over to develop their ability to feel compassion and loving kindness towards other people. And the traditional chant and the traditional process, which comes from the Metta Sutra, from the Pali Canon, some of the earliest writings about the Buddhist teachings, this Metta meditation goes through a number of different types of people. So it goes through somebody, it actually goes through a benefactor, somebody who has been good to you and has shown you love, and you meditate on sending loving kindness to that person. And then the tradition is to go to yourself and send yourself loving kindness, and then to send loving kindness to a neutral person, and then to send it to a difficult person. So let's start with ourselves, because self-compassion is so important. It's so important. If you struggle with self-compassion, I really encourage you to make that one of your priorities, to work on developing compassion for yourself. It is so important for our physical and mental well-being. It is so important for our relationships. It's actually critically important for the people in our lives that we're in relationship with, that we feel compassion for ourselves. And there's been quite a bit of research done now on self-compassion as really being a key component of mental health. So if you don't feel like you have much self-compassion, the Metta meditation practice is wonderful to do for yourself. And then there's also a number of other ways to develop self-compassion, including 12-step programs if you have an addiction, or if a loved one of yours has an addiction. 12-step groups can be an awesome way to develop self-compassion, because you end up having compassion for the other people in the room, and then you realize, wow, they do the same stuff I do. They're very much like me, so I can begin to have compassion for myself. Therapy is another way to develop self-compassion, and that could be a priority between you and your therapist if you feel that that's something you need. So in Metta meditation practice, the way that I led the guided meditation that I linked earlier in this video is I have you bring up somebody that you feel very easy compassion for, that you just genuinely, your heart opens and you just 100% wish them well. Preferably someone who's not very complicated in your life, an easy person or an easy animal, could be an animal, any being where you just genuinely have that feeling, and then take that feeling and apply it to yourself. Now, very often our self-compassion is extremely limited by a continual stream of negative self-talk. And I do actually have a free PDF that you can download with the link below, or you could actually text the word Awaken Joy to 44222, and you could receive a PDF which is called Transform Your Core Negative Beliefs. Because very often, if we grow up in dysfunctional families or troubled situations, or even just with the normal difficulties of the world, we develop very negative thoughts about ourselves that become very pervasive and become the lens through which we see the world. and they really can impede on our ability to develop self-compassion. So that's a free tool. If you're interested, feel free to download it. So let's move to the difficult people part of the equation here. So sometimes when people learn Metta meditation and it's suggested that they bring to mind a difficult person, they bring to mind like the most difficult person in their life, and that is really, really tough. So that is absolutely not my suggestion. My suggestion would be to bring to mind somebody who is difficult, but more on kind of like the continually irritating, and work on bringing compassion to that person. And then when you feel that becomes a little bit easier, you can then work on people who are kind of mid-range difficult. And if you have been a victim of trauma, I would not recommend doing this practice for the abuser unless you had a lot of recovery and a lot of Metta meditation practice. There's no need to take the person who's caused you the most pain in life and put them in this position and try to generate that feeling if it feels harmful to you. Now, I've come to 2 observations doing Metta meditations over many, many, many years. And one of those observations is that there are people in my life who move in between categories. So you could probably bring somebody to mind. Let's pick somebody that you dated and broke up with. When you very first met them, they probably were a neutral person, maybe. And then you maybe fell deeply in love, and they would have been that easy person to generate compassion for. And then the relationship maybe would have gotten a little bit more difficult, and then they would be that difficult person. And then maybe something really horrible happened which ended the relationship. Maybe they were abusive or lied or cheated or something really horrible, and then they would end up being the most difficult person. And then years and years and years later, after you've healed and you've gotten over the relationship, that person may actually move back into neutral. I know I've had a best friend where something has gone wrong, and then they've been a difficult person, and then they've become sort of neutral, or somebody who's totally neutral, and then you get to know them and then they become a best friend. So people move among these categories, and really understanding that helps to loosen our attachment to our judgments. Does that make sense? Would you let me know in the comments below if that makes sense to you, how people can move amongst all these different categories? So again, I am not talking here about somebody who has committed severe abuse against you. I'm definitely not putting them in this category. And I think with all Metta meditation practice, the self-compassion piece is the most important. So if any of this practice feels like you are not being compassionate to yourself, not accepting of your own needs and your need for safety and your need for security, all of that is okay, and that comes first. And the other thing I have realized from doing Metta meditation over the course of many years is that these difficult people in my life, if they were truly happy, if they were free from mental suffering, they would not be causing me pain. They would not be causing pain to my loved ones. They would not be causing pain to other people in the world. So I truly, truly 100% can wish loving kindness towards them. I can wish that they were happy. I can wish that they were free from suffering, from mental suffering and from physical suffering. And I can wish that they take care of themselves happily. So I'm hoping this video helped to clarify a couple of points about both self-compassion and difficult people. And if you let me know what you think, I would really appreciate it, and I will respond. So ask me a question if you have one, and I look forward to the next time.